Hey, y'all wanna know how I did this? I'm finna show you. Check it out.
Test. Tide Pods. 1, 2, 3. Cool. So first thing, honestly, is get some chords. However you get them. So let me show you what those chords are in my case. Let me solo that out for you. There's like 4 different chord layers basically. The second one was this. It's just a higher up version. Here's the third layer. Here's the fourth layer. It's just a lower octave with those chords basically. Actually, let me show you that Serum Patch real quick. So this is those chords that are going like where it's got the filter closing. I put an attack, like a 903 millisecond attack, meaning that like basically what you do is you just grab this, take it over to the cutoff. It makes this filter right here open and close. So you can see right here, that's what it's doing. It's really easy to make those kind of things, honestly. Oh, the bass really drives the track, I feel like. So it's 3 different bass layers. It sounds cool on its own. So it's the reason why is if there's 3 of them is so it can sound really thick. So I got the low bass sounding like this. It's nice, subby and fat. Oh my gosh, I gotta tell you guys, I just got Reason 11. By the way, we're obviously doing all this inside of Ableton 11. I'm running the trial right now, the sweet version, to my benefit obviously, because I'm over here running like, I think it's like 20 plus tracks on this. I probably couldn't make this inside of like my intro version. Reason 11 inside of Ableton 11 is like a dream come true. This is the kind of DAW that I've always wanted, basically. So getting back to those bass layers, so check it out. I got a high bass, and so the processing on that is, you can see right here on the EQ8, I took off a bunch of the low end, EQ'd a little bit, made it, you know, kind of sparkle around the 2.40 kilohertz, put about 2.6 dBs in there, and then we got another high bass. This is that, and this is a little bit more stabby, you know. It probably adds to the attack a little bit as far as functionality, but having 2 high basses right there, it kind of fattened up the sound. Let me solo adjust those out real quick. Those are just the top basses. And what obviously helps a lot too is I put sausage fattener in the chain. I put a bunch of saturation as well, and that really helps. But yeah, those basses, those are on Thor. This one's a different bass patch. This is bass 101. And then I got the drums over here. The drums, those were kind of strategically picked out. So this is the kick drum. It hits pretty hard, and I've got some processing on it as well. I could have sworn I did more to it. No, all I put is the EQ on it. Usually what I'll do is I literally got a whole video on it. I'll put the link in the description, what I usually do for my kicks. But the only thing I did is at 102, I took the gain knob and boom, 5.71 dBs gain boost. Watch, I'll show you the before and after. That's without it. Way less fat. Okay, and then the snare. So let's listen to both the drums. I'm tripping. Let's hear both of those. That snare is just drowned in reverb. Okay, so let's look at the snare, where that came from. So I'm using the Reason 11, the Reason Rack plugin. I've got that snare layer. Let me just solo the snare. That snare is It's from this sample pack I got a long time ago. I don't even remember the name. Okay, it's like JL, whoever you are, like you came out with like 50 samples of just like some good snares, some beefy like EDM slash like retro vibing snares. I've got this like high end kind of deal. That's kind of cool for the attack, and then that's like the beef of it right there. All right, and so I got those two snares layered like that. As I said, drowned in reverb. This right here is the send, my snare send to the reverb, and I've even got a little bit of delay on it, and that kind of just like sets it back in the mix. It doesn't do like a whole ton, but I definitely like that little bit of delay on it. I have a channel EQ, and I'm cutting off some of the mid and some of the high, so I'll bypass that so you can see what the snare sounded like before, right? It's like airy, it's, you know, kind of in your face, and then this like just totally puts it back in the mix. I got a compressor on it. It's not hitting it too hard, and it's fairly quick. I'm letting 23.6 milliseconds of the signal get through before the compressor clamps down on it, and then it is going through this guy. I love this guy. This is a free plugin. Go download this one. This is awesome on your snares. If you're doing like trap snares and you've got like and you have a snare that's hitting your limiter super hard, right? You throw some of this on it, put the gain around like about 5 or so, and adjust your output to your liking. Basically, you won't hit that master limiter as hard anymore. Like that, this will solve your problem. It, like, if you go too nuts with it, if I like come over here or something, it's gonna start sounding different. Actually, I'll show you what that would sound like. Start hearing some distortion on it, right? But I guarantee you it will not hit your master bus as hard anymore. This lead is the I got two different layers here. I want to say this is the one that is like, this is this one. That one's kind of doing what the vocals are doing, kind of. I've got one of the layers only playing so many notes. This is like in between vocal phrases. They're not vocal phrases, but like in between these clusters you can see on the screen. So those are playing when the vocals aren't, you know, basically. And that lead, I mean, it's got some a little bit of processing on it too. The OTT, so it could be like, so all the frequencies can kind of sit up in your face and just be present. I feel like that's what OTT is good for a lot of the times. So like I'll adjust this depth quite a bit. I'll usually leave these guys all the same, adjust the depth. Whether like my signal is getting too loud and it's gonna start clipping, I adjust the out gain to my liking. And so I was gonna show you where that lead came from. That's again from Reason. Like I told you in one of my past videos that like all my problems would be solved if I got this. And now that I have it, I'm just gonna keep saying it. I love it. So this is Dark Dive Pluck. This is, I love this this setting, by the way. I just, it's like, a little bit of compression as well, but it's all detuned and it sounds all retro. It was good for this. Vocals, let's hear it. This is the vocal bus. All the auto-tune is like super just blatantly obvious when it's soloed out like that. Okay, so I've got main left and main right, and so I'll let you see what those sound like by themselves. So I got it panned 35 left, 35 right on the right one. And what the processing on those, I got it going through Melodyne, obviously, right? I've got everything pitch corrected, you know, so these notes aren't just drifting all over the place. Goes through Melodyne. I like it first in the processing because I sent it through Nectar as well, and Nectar has everything. It's like compressor, saturation, delay, reverb, and they're all like really good, and it's all inside this plugin. And that's where I get the harmony from. I've got it just hitting the 5th of that vocal melody. I don't have it super loud. Like it's at 56 on the mix, right? The track is in C major, so I've got the strength at 100%, and then I've got the speed pretty quick because your boy is just drifting with his pitch. Even the speed's pretty fast. Some saturation, some tape saturation. The amount, I didn't go too crazy. It's got delay, it's got reverb, and that harmony, of course. I went crazy with the compressor on both. As I've told you in the past, I like to stack compressors. Wah, wah, wah. That first compressor is literally not doing anything, but like if you're having a problem compressing a vocal or any source really, and you don't like the pumping that it's doing because it's hitting the compressor too hard, use two compressors. Put 2 in your chain, right? Compress the first one, let it compress so that it's not like, you know, jumping up and down dynamically. And then that second compressor, don't put as harsh of a ratio, and you won't have that pumping quality as much anymore. So next up is this low part. It's basically just me doing an octave lower on that. That's running through a Melodyne, and it's running through Nectar, the Nectar settings. This is, I got some compression on it, right? And this is, I think, this is actually hitting it, right? Some saturation, not too crazy on the amount. We've got the delay. The delay, I think it's the same on all the vocal tracks. I've got like 4 of them, or no, 5. It's just a 1/8 delay. The feedback's not too crazy. I literally just did the same exact thing on the second one. I just did 2 of those to thicken up, to make it sound more like choiry, like full and, you know, just layered. I didn't want it to sound like thin. And then the second one, or the last one I mean, is this is... You got some like, I don't know what that is. That sounds like something, it gives me these weird vibes just hearing that by itself. And then on the bus, on the actual Vox bus, first of all, I'm getting rid of some of the low end, getting rid of some of the mud that builds up over in these frequencies over here. This is 215 hertz. Just taking it down a little bit, and I got a super wide Q, as you can see. Got it at 0.71 over here. Next, we're running through a glue compressor, and so this is what that's doing. You know, just taking it down a little bit. I don't want to hear it jumping around too much. Some saturation knob. So I put quite a bit on there. That will glue. So if you got like a vocals like, you know, that I'm doing on here, and you run it through some saturation, that can act as a glue too. I think that goes to say with like other effects too. If you run them all through like the same effect, it'll glue it together. In my experience, it totally works with saturation. Next up is this reverb. It's not too wet, honestly, like, because I already got some reverb on each of these themselves individually. Got the whole thing running through OTT, and same idea that I said on the other thing that I showed you the OTT on. I think it was like one of the leads. The depth, I'll just like crank this to my liking. That kind of just makes the highs, lows, and mids kind of sit like individually, but it works differently than a regular compressor. And then at the end, I'm cutting off some high end, so it sits back a little bit more in the mix, adding a little bit of presence. This is the 808 hertz. This isn't adding like a shimmery type of presence. This is adding something that just feels a little bit more pushed back. It's not as bright. I got some toms over here. That's just hitting between like phrases, right? That's heavily processed. I'm using Kong in Reason, right? And so I ran it through a bunch of saturation, and this is what it sounds like before, right? And so like that saturation basically was just for one, to add presence, to add, you know, upper harmonics, and it makes it sound more aggressive. That's what I wanted, basically. I couldn't find any kind of aggressive toms that I wanted, so I kind of had to use saturation knob, like super liberal on that one. Yeah, like it's almost full. And then some EQ. I took out some low end because those samples were like hitting in the sub frequencies, so that's all I did there. Fanned it up, sausage fattener. He's still happy. He's not super angry. Didn't use any of the color. The next one, oh yeah, took out a little bit more of the low. Didn't want it to come through, and put like a bunch of mid in it, or just kind of more like upper presence. It's over 1,000 hertz right there, and it actually, let me show you how much gain I put. 4 dB. A little bit of OTT, because OTT is a lifesaver. The second lead, you see two of them. One's just a high and one's a low. I think this is the high one. We'll hear that real fast. That one hails from the mountain of reason. Europa. That's what I'm using. Europa is like, that's a powerful synth. Like Reason has some top-notch stuff. Like if you get this Reason rack plugin, like you get so many like different things. Right? You get a new sampler, like Ableton's top-notch with the sampler already, but like this thing's cool, man. You get a monotone bass synthesizer, radical piano. They've got some cool piano sounds in there. They even have this patch called Bill Withers piano, and it's kind of cool. Their EQ is pretty dope. Master bus compressor. Yeah, I'm like super pleased with the experience that I've been getting in between Reason 11 and Ableton 11. But this was super fun to make, and in the future you're gonna see more stuff with like my vocals on it, because I'm not like really a singer, but like I hear melodies in my head. I'm creative like y'all. That's about it. This was a super fun track to make. I just felt like getting out of my norm and just making something kind of retro sounding.
I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for watching my video. Please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so that you don't miss any future videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you found any of this useful, let me know down in the comments. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.